La neta con Larry Navarrete.
Welcome back, guys, to Bottom Line with Larry Navarrete. This is episode number 15? 15. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We're here with Larry Navarrete. How are we doing today, Larry?
Very good. I don't thank you for having me again. Larry Navarrete, Loan Suite Mortgage, NMLS 670362. I didn't start it this time.
You rolled with it.
I'm rolled with it.
Jesus. Well, thank you for having me because it's your show, Larry.
No.
So, how about them Dodgers 7-0?
7-0. I don't want to jinx them, but I tell you, we're on pace to win 162. Still on pace to win 162.
All California teams are in top four.
The Padres are
second.
Unfortunately doing really good. There's also undefeated. There's two undefeated teams.
The Giants,
Dodgers and Padres.
Okay.
Giants are 4-1.
Giants are good, and then you got
the Diamondbacks are pretty good.
No, the Diamondbacks are not from California.
Oh, okay. Well, you can't tell me the A's are good.
The A's, they're there.
Yeah, the Angels are good. I mean, they're 4-1.
No, not the A's. The Angels. Yeah.
No, I'm saying the Angels are good. They're 4-1. You tell me the Angels are from California.
Yeah, the A's are going to Nevada.
I don't even know if they're considered.
All right.
The A's are playing a minor league ballpark, and I want to go to a game. I want to go out there. I want to watch a Major League Baseball in a minor league park
before they get their real stadium.
I think they're going to be there for 3 years, but I want to go out there in a few weeks this summer too.
Before they tear down Las Vegas. Larry, we had a great episode last week. We talked about how rents are going down. You had a client that actually...
Well, going down, not like dropping like significantly. When I say going down, it's $25, $50.
Okay.
I'm not talking $500. So, yeah, I had a client call me yesterday, and he's buying he's buying his primary home. He's vacating his home as it's going to be an investment.
Okay.
And he goes, Larry, I don't know. I listened to your podcast, and I don't know. You scared me last week. And I'm like, well, what did I say? And he's all like, well, you told me the rents are going down. I don't know if it's a good time for me to buy. And I go, look, it is going down, but it's not going down
not
$300. No, we're not talking. Before, when I would rent a house and then they vacate, I'd raise it $200,
okay.
$100, $50. It depends. Now it's like, okay, I'm either going to keep it the same or I'm dropping it $25 or $50.
Okay.
So it's not like it's dropping like
drastically, dramatically.
Dramatic. Now they're stable, but they're not going up. The inflation is not hitting the rents anymore. It's actually dropping $25 to $50.
Not that much.
No, not that much.
But just because there's more volume of homes for rent.
You know what? I've heard from different people that there's more available now.
Okay.
Somebody was telling me that there's some condos or some out there, some apartments of 70 and 32nd.
So that's probably what's like.
And then there's still like a 20% vacancy.
Okay.
And I was like, oh wow, and just see it around and everything.
Yeah, because before people were fighting for apartments and everything.
I mean, before I used to do open houses. I used to do open houses for a rent. So I would say, instead of, could we see tomorrow? And then all these people, then I go, you know what? I'm showing it Friday from 5 to 8. And then I'm showing it Saturday morning from 10 to 2.
So what you're saying, Larry, don't listen to Larry?
No. Every situation is different.
Okay.
And don't, when I say they're dropping, I'm not talking 20, 30%.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 5%.
But there is a little bit of availability.
And there is a more availability.
There's a more
and always, if you price your home right, or if you have the right home, somebody's going to rent it.
Yeah. Well, Airbnbs are still doing good. So
I hear Airbnbs are still doing good. There's some homes, I say, I stay away from Somerton. There's people that call me specifically the only one in Somerton. There's people specifically only one in San Luis. There's people specifically only one in Foothills. There's people specifically only one in the city of Yuma.
Okay.
Within the city, I don't know what Foothills also the city of Yuma.
Sometimes it's because of work or whatever, daycare or whatever.
They're used to they're living there already. Every situation is different.
You got a lot of people coming back from Phoenix?
A few people here and there.
Okay.
Not like drastic, but yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about new people. People that were from Yuma, they went to Phoenix, and now they're coming back.
I've heard there's like a big drop in prices on homes in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area.
I talked to my friend this past week. He's a broker, and he says they're still holding, but they're dropping. But again, certain homes, certain areas, but when we're talking dropping, we're not talking $50,000, $60,000.
Okay.
$10,000 reduction, maybe 15. But those are homes that we're probably thinking like, I could get higher now.
Now let's talk about on the lending side, on the pipeline. Are you getting a lot of people interested in buying?
There's always interest, and there's always people wanting, and payments scare people. But that's just the reality.
Do you think the summer will be dramatic?
A dramatic what?
Like we won't see that many people like we have in other years trying to shop around?
It's hard to say. You know, we talk about every year, summer's always picks up time. Picks up for sales. It's just uncertainty.
Okay.
It's
Because of
uncertainty.
everything that we got going on.
Everything that we got going on, there's nothing, right now with even DACA and even people with work permits,
Okay.
that went away. And whether you like it or not, that cuts a certain percentage of people. Even if it's 2, 3%, 10% of the people, right? It's still a population, and it's still, let's say somebody has a work authorization visa, right? And they've been here for 10 years, and they renew every year or every 2 years. And the spouse is a citizen or a resident, right? Now the spouse is like, oh, maybe we can't buy because what's going to happen to you?
Okay, they don't know what
The
what's gonna,
uncertainty, yeah.
Yeah, the next
maybe
year.
they were preparing to buy this year, right? And even their kids, right? Even their kids as they're getting older, so much as DACA kids, they were buying or they were preparing to buy. Now they're not.
Because they're like, we're probably...
Because remember, every year there's more DACA kids jumping into the buying stages, right?
So they enter the workforce,
They're entering the workforce. In the workforce, there's more ability. Every year there's more, right?
Yeah, but
'Cause now it's like, so if last year we had, say, 100,000 kids that they entered the workforce, the DACA, right? Well, they were ready to buy in a year or two, and now another 100,000 entered this year. Well, now that pot is going to grow, but it's not jumping into the buying.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
They're still there, but they're not going to do...
Well, I think about it. Would you?
No. I mean, I'm thinking about even buying a new car right now.
Right? If
I'm like,
you know you don't know your legal status or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If your work permit is going to get renewed.
Yeah.
I mean, the government FHA announced we're not accepting any DACA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before they used to?
Yeah. The work authorization.
Okay.
Before they used to. Now they're not.
So that's...
So like I said, that is still a percentage. It might have been a small percentage, but it's still a percentage of people that were able to buy there. They're no longer able to buy.
Do we have a lot of DACA here in Yuma?
No, I don't see. Well, that's the thing.
Probably bigger cities, right?
Do we have a lot of DACA? No, because we're so close to the border,
Okay.
right? And people would just have the kids here or whatever, right? But as you get into the bigger cities, yes, there's millions of DACA kids.
Okay.
And every year, like I said, a new age group enters the workforce.
The workforce, and now they're just like, hey, I'm going to hold off and not take
mean-
on that big investment.
Right? Married people that were both, I know DACA kids that are married now that were wanting to buy a home, but now it's like, Larry, am I going to buy a home now? I'm like, well, you can't, not FHA.
Okay, because they don't qualify.
No, because FHA, the guideline is no more.
Okay.
It's not that they don't qualify. Right now, there's a hold on DACA and work authorization, certain visas that you can't
You
buy
can't buy with.
because there is no loan for you.
What would they have to do? Private lending or what?
Private lending, maybe conventional with more money down,
Okay.
right? I mean, I don't know if FHA is doing it. Maybe Fannie and Freddie are going to start following and not doing DACA or not doing work authorization.
Okay. So that creates some drama, you know.
It creates a percentage, right? And it's a little bit, right? But it's still a percentage.
It's still a percentage. Money's money.
Yeah, it's still a percentage of people that are not going to be able to buy or can't buy right now.
So, guys, Larry has a lot of information this week, especially for those people that are planning to invest in homes and rent them out. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. No, don't be scared. And it's funny because he was asking me, I'm like, look, don't be scared. In his situation, Mr. Navarro, no mention no names.
Okay.
No first names.
Yeah.
His home is paid off.
Yeah?
I go, so it doesn't matter if you get $25 or $50 less. It's not
No,
gonna make really
it's
big
really
difference.
gonna hurt him, yeah.
Not going to hurt him. You don't have a mortgage. And then he started asking me, well, what do I do, Larry? How do I find a renter? And I'm like, you know what? All these shows we talk about investing and everything, but we never talked about
We never talk about how to rent the property
how
out.
to rent the property.
Yeah.
out. And I go, look, very easy. I always recommend your first rental because I always say if you're going to get into the rental business, you got to get at least 4.
Yeah.
It's hard to do one because you put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
In his case, it's a little bit different. Him and his wife. Why? Because his home is paid off. There's a little very low risk, right? But imagine if you have a mortgage and somebody damages your house, right? Now you still have to pay the mortgage and you got to get it fixed because you got to rent it ASAP.
Yeah. Because you're
So
still
you gotta
doing that
fix it.
payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take 6 months fixing it, because you got 6 mortgage payments to make.
Yeah.
Right. So and I asked, there's nothing that's 100%. There's no self proof or safe
Guaranteed.
Proof. There's no guaranteed. No. There's just little things, little flags that you look for
When you're renting it
when
out.
you're gonna be the landlord and you're renting it out when somebody comes to see your house. What do I look at? He asked me, is housing good? And I go, well, housing is a good guaranteed rent. And if you see somebody with small kids, you know they're most likely going to be there for a very long time. Unfortunately, people that are in housing or subsidized housing, they kind of tend to stay there for a while. It's not a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. It's usually 5, 6, 10 years. So you're going to have secured rent for a while.
And the prices are...
And the prices are pretty good. Now, he asked me this question, do they pay out? I go, you know what? I have 2 different houses, and the one pays the full, and the other one pays a little bit. I don't know. I've asked the social service worker or somebody there, and they asked me, well, no, you can't collect extra rent. Another person told me yes. So I don't know who to believe.
Okay.
So they both pay me extra, right, to make up the rent. I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. I don't know. One says yes, and the other one says no. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving myself up right here. But yeah. So you're going to get guaranteed rent.
So you got the guaranteed rent if you do housing.
And you do housing. Now,
how about when you're actually interviewing people, like to rent your property?
When I interview people, I tell people when I'm there, right? And I see kids running around. And when the parent tells me or tells their kid, hey, Brian, stop, or the man's going to get mad at you.
Why do you have to be a Brian?
Well, because we're doing it in English, right? We'll do the Spanish first. I go, Joe, Jose, Jesus, stop, right?
Yeah.
The man's gonna get mad at me.
Yeah.
So that tells me they have no control over their own kids.
For the kids. So basically, once you're gone.
Once I'm gone, which man is gonna tell you anything? Right? They'll be bouncing off the walls. Right? So to me, that's a red flag.
So don't take the kids to the interview.
I guess, if you have kids that you can't control, don't take them to the interview.
You show up for a random inspection, you got kids all over the place.
Yeah, but it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
When I see somebody else, and it sucks to say it, but to me, like I said, this is bottom line. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Right? When I see somebody, right, and I see husband and wife, or who cares if they're not married or whatever, but I see a couple, and I see a 35-year-old man with an ID and not a driver license.
Oh, okay.
What does that tell me?
Well, I don't know. DUI?
DUI, 1 or 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you drove here?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, at any moment you're gonna get pulled over. Might lose your job.
Lose your job, and then
you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a red flag.
Do you do background checks on them? Like
No.
You don't check public records? And,
No.
No. See if they had.
You know what? And it's funny because I do try to look them up on social media. And when people tell me, when people say, "Hey, be careful what you post."
Oh yeah.
Because you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing posts there, the last 6 months or the last 2 years, I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I see you taking pictures.
Yeah, the
of
TikToks.
yourself,
The TikToks.
or you're doing TikToks, or you're doing pictures in the bathroom, whatever. And I see your bathroom all thrashed, or you're in the bedroom, right there taking pictures, and I see the
How about
laundry
the car? The car.
You know, dude?
When they show up the car is like, oh, it's a mess.
Well, one thing is dirty because it rained or it's windy, so you'll
Yeah.
see your car dusty. But if I see a windshield and I see pigeon poop that's there for a week or two,
Or
you
the
don't care.
cornflakes box.
Or you see
with
there,
no
you
milk
see
in
a-
it.
you
It's
see a
dried
little,
there for
you
days.
see a little Caesar's box. You see a McDonald's bag.
Diapers.
You're like, these people don't care about their car. They don't care about my
They're not
house.
going to care about your house. Yeah.
Right? So you don't see the dirt, the muddiness. It's what inside.
Okay.
If you see the kid coming out with I had one where the kid was bouncing around and he had a shirt and he had all red, it looked like he had Kool-Aid or something, right? Or red soda pop or whatever. And I'm like, man. And like, you don't care.
Yeah.
To me, that the parent doesn't care.
And then you got white curtains.
And I'm like, you're going to mess up my house. So I tell you, those are the red flags that I look for. When I told Mr. Navarro, if he has an ID,
It could be a sign.
it could be a sign.
They're signs.
They're signs, right? They're signs.
Larry.
I mean, it's the truth, right?
Well-
So those are the little things. Again, now if they work for some government agency, they probably went through a background check already.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not. If they work at a daycare, they probably went through a background already. If they work night crew at a warehouse or something like that, they're probably going to sleep more during the day and work at night. You know what I mean? Those people tend to be a little bit more.
They're a
low-key.
bouncer at a bar.
You know what I mean? They're tend to be more low key. I've had experience. You run into waiters at restaurants or bartenders. they're probably gonna go party at the house if they're single. You know what I
when
mean?
they get out.
When they get out, roommates. Oh, we're both bartenders. They're probably gonna go party at the house. There's always gonna be, and that's just the atmosphere,
Yeah.
right? Once a week, twice a week.
So there's signs.
There's signs, and those are the little flags, the little signs that you gotta look for.
So for more signs from Larry,
Call me. I'll give you. You want stories, and if you really want, you're gonna rent. To me, there's signs.
yeah.
There's signs, and I don't go through a rental agency, right? I never have.
You manage yourself.
I manage myself. I kind of want to see what's coming in, and have I been good sometimes? Yes. Have I had bad? Yes. You just never know.
You just
but
balance out.
there are signs.
Yeah.
There are signs.
Keep your eyes open.
There's definitely
That's
signs.
what they're saying.
Like I said, look for the IDs. Look for if you see 4 W-2s, they're probably bouncing around work to work.
Okay.
Right? If you see a pay stub in November and they tell you they make $20 an hour, right? You're in November, $20 an hour equivalates to about $42,000 a year. Well, $42,000 a year, 30, and then it's in November and they've only made $6,000. Where did you work before?
Yeah.
Oh, and then they start giving you stories and this and that. Well, if you're the year to date, you see $6,000 and it's November and they're making $20 an hour. That's 2 months. That's a month and a half. Where did it work for the 9 months?
Yeah. So do your math, guys. Do your research.
Math, do your research. You know what I mean? And it's not like what rocket science is. It's just little things that you see there.
Yeah. So let's not just get greedy about let's renting it out.
Yeah, don't just get greedy about renting it out to anybody.
Yeah.
And especially like right now, when people tell you, "Oh, I'll pay you the next 3 months," that right there is a red flag. Because they're desperate to get in. That means that they already been kicked out somewhere else and they just got their tax money.
Yeah. So they want to be sure that they got a place for the next 3 months.
Well, no, and then after that, it's like some people say, "Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, but I have 3 months."
How long is it going to take you to evict them?
It doesn't take that long, about a month.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you evict them, they probably destroyed your house.
Yeah.
So right now, be careful with people that are trying to tell you, because I know it's really tempting. Oh man, they're going to pay me 3 months ahead.
Yeah.
But watch out for those little red flags. That right there, paying you 3 months ahead, is a red flag.
Because that's when the money will be out.
That's because it's especially during tax season.
That's when they're all out there with their largest amount of money.
But nothing is perfect. Nothing is right or nothing is wrong. Read the red flags, gauge the red flags in between.
Okay, guys, for more advice from Larry on rental properties and when to buy or when to refinance, call Larry. Where can they reach you, Larry?
At Lone Sweet Mortgage, and the number is, I see you going this way, 928-785-2451. 928-785-2451.
Jesus. Okay. All right. We'll see Larry next time. Thank you, Larry.
La neta con Larry Navarrete.